Welcome to the Daily Dish with Leanne Ely. This is a show about you, your life, and the vibrancy you want. Join us for daily motivation, wise women's tips, and more as we collectively gather together and move the needle in our lives, heart, mind, body, and soul. Now, here is your host, Leanne Ely, and the Daily Dish.
Monday. That's right, Flynn. It is Monday. It's Monday. Who's in the house? I see Flynn and Terry already here. Thanks for being here, by the way. It's Valentine's Day. My heart belongs to you. I hope everybody's having an amazing Valentine's Day. Remember, you can be your own Valentine. So enough of the stuff. Hello, Corliss and Darla. Who else is here? Jackie and Denise. Gosh, it's so good to see you. And we've just finished our whole sprint. I'm going to bet there's some really good results. I want to see it. Who's going to share the results? Hey there, Juanita. It's time to share your results. Am I right, Carla? It's time to share your results. You know, the sprint is more than just a weight loss apparatus. It's a way for us to lose inflammation, to gather together with a community of like-minded women and kick it out of the field, man. Are you ready? Sue's here. So's Diane. We're going to have a great time. We're going to have a great day today. And you know what? One of the things that we're going to be looking at, this long-term consistency beats short-term intensity. Now, the sprint might be intense for 7 days, but that doesn't mean you can't take those principles with you into this week. That doesn't mean now it's time to dive into all the stuff that you weren't eating, maybe during the sprint. Let's think about that, all right? Let's think about that. Because really, what we're looking at is change. You know, if we want some change in some of the stuff that we're doing, we're just simply going to have to change it up. That's all there is to it. Hello, Teresa. It's nice to have you here. Lucy, Jeanette, Vanessa, I'm delighted that you're here. Helen, you're shocked at your results? I want to hear about it, Helen. I'm so excited for you. You like my hair, Juanita? This is my curly hair. This is me without the blowout. I know, it's curly crazy. It's my Bride of Frankenstein look. Lisa Meyer in the house. Good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Anyway, let's start thinking about this. Can we take this one to the bank this week? Let's take to the bank this week and start thinking about that stuff. Kim, great. First time here? Well, great. I'm glad you're here. This is so much fun. It is so much fun, and it's great to have you. So we want to see your sprint results, and we also want you to tee it up and get ready for next Monday because we're starting the Get Strong, Be Strong challenge. This is about, taking a look. We've taken a look at what we've been eating, right? That's what the sprint does, is say, hey, let's correct some things that are out of whack. Now, let's take it to the next level and let's give your body the program it needs, the food it needs, the flexibility, the balance, the strength, all of that. It's free. Check it out at savingdinner.com/show. That's where you're going to find it. And that's what's going to light you up. I promise you. Hey, Lynn. Did you see Lynn's picture? She looks so cute. She posted it in the sprint yesterday. Cute picture. I love it when you guys post your pictures, by the way. Next week is, don't forget, we have Q&A every single Friday. And if you don't give me a question, we don't have a show. So send them into support@savingdinner.com. Question for Leanne on Friday goes right there in the subject line. And we are good. Yes, we are. We are so good. Our supplement of the week. This one's going to fly. And even if you bought this last week, even if you have it, even if whatever, I promise you, if this is part of your regular supplement regime, take advantage of this anyway. Remember this, we do a small batch manufacturer, small batches, fresh stuff, and we never have stuff sitting on the shelf for like 2 years where other places do. We don't. It's the core 4, y'all. It's the core 4. Now, these 4 supplements are core to any woman's health. Any woman's health. And this is the stuff that we miss out on so much. We're talking about B complex for overall cellular integrity. We're talking about CalMag, How are your muscles? How are your bones? We are also talking about CoQ10. This is heart health all the way right here. And vitamin D, immune system. Listen, get this. You want this. All 4. Buy 3 sets, you get a 4th one for free. It's such a great deal. Leaving for a week-long vacation in Los Angeles tomorrow. Sprinting got me back on track and ready. Yes, Sarah. Can we everybody pinky up for Sarah? This is what it's about. We put ourselves in the way of success when we make decisions for ourselves that are anti-inflammatory. And I'm talking, what is inflammation really? And I think one week I'm going to do a whole series on inflammation. Remind me, write that down. Inflammation shows up not just in your joints and in pain. Inflammation shows up in your thoughts. It shows up in your relationships. It shows up in your life. We can start detoxing from all this inflammation. We are going to start seeing ourselves in a whole new light. That's what I'm talking about. That is what we're talking about. Yes, Sue, we are sisters in success. Amen to that. So Inner Circle, folks, don't forget tomorrow night, we are on it again. And boy, oh boy, do I love Inner Circle. It's just so great. Anybody's wondering what it is, you can find it at savingdinner.com/circle and get on the wait list. That doesn't mean that we are going to have that for you. We're going to have the next Inner Circle. Doesn't mean that. It just means that you're interested, and maybe we will be having another Inner Circle. Every time I'm going to give myself the grace and the latitude and the room to make decisions as we go along. That's how I'm going to do it. So, would love another option on the offer of the week. Well, there's all kinds of options on our site. Go take a look. All kinds. Okay, so here's the deal. The other thing that I want you to do is, and a lot of people did this weekend, is took advantage of our message app, which not our message app, but our text list messages. To join, you have to send a message to this phone number, 855-960-3720, and then in the message part, put the word join all in caps. And then there will be a message that comes to you to confirm that you want to do this. You have to answer the question, and they'll tell you exactly what to do. It's either a Y or an N or a yes or a no. I'm not sure. But once you've done that, then you're in like Flynn. Huh, Flynn? She knows. Anyway, it'll be so much. It's going to be so much fun. I will tell you. Diane, did I say hello to you? Emily, hello. Yes, you need to get back on the sprint. Does everybody agree that Emily needs to get back on the sprint? Absolutely. You need to get back on the sprint. Everybody needs to get back on the sprint. All right, let me just say this. This whole week, for those of you who are note takers, for those of you who look forward to our notes, by the way, we give you notes every single day after our show, and they're available in the Daily Dish newsletter that goes out. We have the Daily Dish show here, and we have the Daily Dish newsletter that goes out. So take advantage of that. All you have to do is sign up for it. Go to savingdinner.com and boop, here comes a pop-up. Annoying, I know, but they're very effective. So just put your name and information in there, including your phone number, and all the rest will come to you, and you'll reap all the benefits, the recipes, the everything, and the show notes from the day before. It's worth it, isn't it? This week, though, boy, oh boy, y'all, we're going to be stirring the pot. And get your Kleenex ready, some of you. Some of you might need Kleenex for this. I kind of did. I got a little teary with this whole thing. And the show plans that I have for all this week, I think are going to light you up. Because letting go is a huge principle. It's a huge principle in our lives if we've decided that we are going to live a vibrant life. To live a vibrant life means usually there's something that has to be given up in order to get something else in exchange. Hey, Patsy. And I say this simply because oftentimes we don't understand that it's a universal concept of give, take, yin, yang, breathing in, breathing out, reaping and sowing. There's always a giving, and then there's a getting. There is a letting go of, and there's a getting back. There's a lot of that. And, we're going to talk about it and unpack it just a little bit today. And this whole week, it's going to build on one another, because I think this is so critically important. I was thinking about this today, and actually this whole weekend. I was thinking different things, different thoughts, different ideas, different things going on, in my life, and the thoughts that were popping up. And I was thinking to myself, that's a ratty old thought. Where'd that come from? I need to let go of that. And I thought about it for a minute, and I thought about, our subconscious just basically is always in the background, humming along, throwing down thoughts and what have you. And half the time we're not even paying attention. Most of the time we're not even paying attention, all of us. But I'm marinating on this topic for a while of letting go and what it all entails. And it seems that in order to make room for anything that it is that you want in your life, there's first this process of having to let go of something. It's the ebb and flow of the universe. It totally is. This is the way it's done. We witness this in nature. We witness this in other people's lives. This is the way it is. And the struggle is real. It is. When it comes to letting go of certain things, especially people, anybody ever have a toxic boyfriend you just didn't want to give up? Right here. I mean, I will hold my hand up and I will say that is the truth. It is the absolute truth. But at the end, I got a prize at the end. I'm married to him and he's upstairs. And that is worth all the things. But there are people that we have to sometimes let go of. There are circumstances, there's regret, there's pain, and yes, there's even clutter that we have a hard time of letting go of. And rather than beating ourselves up and saying, what the heck is wrong with you? Why can't you just get rid of that bag of clothes or whatever? I say no to that. I think sometimes we have to unpack it a little bit and understand what's underneath it. Why is this letting go so difficult? Why can't we just say, you know what, that is just bogus, out of here? I mean, I think there are some people on this planet who have that capacity for doing it. This is why I always say I love contrast, because contrast makes things a lot less blurry and it gives you more of a definitive edge on this, not that. But it is easy to get caught in the struggle of this letting go and going back and forth. And you want to talk about mentally exhausting. It's just completely ridiculous. So psychologists say that the difficulty of letting go has all to do with the past, because that person, that clutter, that circumstance, that regret, it all stands for something. And it all stands for something that's in their past. And I was looking through this week. I can't believe the things I tell you. Don't tell anyone, all right? Just between us girls. So I have this cute dress. So I have decided, have you noticed that I've started dressing a little nicer? Not wearing my sweatshirts all the time, although I will be taking this off after the show. But I just decided, I read something that said about, how we show up for others is how we show up for ourselves. And I was thinking, I need to show up in a better way, and I don't know how to dress myself. That is a confession. So I subscribed to one of those box things, to get clothes sent to you. And they sent me all this stuff and I was like, I'll never wear any of that. Well, but then they gave suggestions on how to put all the stuff together. And I went through and I went, oh my gosh. Oh, I could pair this with that. And I already have this and I already have that. So they sent me a dress. Ladies, it's a mini dress. I don't wear mini dresses ever. And as a matter of fact, I'm very self-conscious about my legs, though they're strong and I think shapely. I don't want anyone to see them naked because I have a whole world of veins on them. I'm veiny from, since I had my kids and all of that. It's just, and freckly and all of that. And it's just like, come on, let's go. Let's just, we don't need to put this on anybody to see. And it's not that, I'm shame-filled because of my legs. I'm proud of my legs because they're strong. But I just don't want to be putting out pale, veiny legs for the world to see. And especially in a mini dress. And I'm not talking mini so that my crotch is hanging out or my butt cheeks are hanging out or anything. I'm getting graphic here. So I thought, well, I'm going to, if I had some pantyhose, they suggested some over the knee boots to go with this cute dress. And I thought, over the knee boots? If I was 20, I would wear that. And then I thought, well, I'm 63. And I ordered a pair on Amazon, and just they're suede like. And because I wasn't about to invest in anything that was, real for a pair like that. And they looked so cute, but I put it on with the dress and I said, okay, gotta have some, hose or some leggings, not leggings. Leggings would have been too heavy, but I wanted some, hose. So I, just some, black hose. So I thought, I know I have some somewhere. So sure, I found them, pulled them out, put them on. And you guys, I'm telling you, putting on pantyhose, I swear I was sweating. It was like I was struggling with these pantyhose. It was like wrestling an alligator, and then the dog is there trying to get into it. And they have these toes and the way pantyhose feel. When's the last time you put pantyhose on? It feels terrible. It's just like this weird, whatever. Anyway, so it was a bust. But why am I telling you about this? Oh, I know. Letting go of this idea that, it's okay to let somebody else dress me and try these things. And suddenly I found all these clothes that I could wear and put together outfits with the stuff that they said and the suggestions and all of that. Less the tights, less the pantyhose. Forget about the pantyhose. Yeah, I'm going to get some tights for sure. Christy, I agree with you 100%. No way on the pantyhose are of the devil. That's all. Let them burn. But I ordered some velvet hangers. Remember my whole thing about velvet hangers? I got velvet hangers. So I was excited. I got velvet hangers. I got over the knee boots. Like, who am I? But then I was looking, why do I need more hangers when what I need to do is do a closet cull? Again, letting go of stuff. And I was having a problem letting go. Well, I really liked that. And it was such a comfy shirt. It's worn out. Let it go. So I went through my old closet, letting go of this stuff. But it was weird how some stuff, even clothing, represents certain things. It's just so dumb. But on the other hand, I mean, like I said, everything's always attached. But I went through and let go of these things, and no surprise there, it felt so much better when it was all done and I had a big old bag full of stuff that I never even wear. It's just sitting on hangers, all in color, color coded too. Yeah, I did that. But letting go of the past, whether it be clothes, clutter, a person, is because, and I think one of the reasons why it's hard is because it's basically the white flag of surrender, isn't it? It's giving something up. It's saying, okay, I surrender. And the other thing about it is too, how we've been working on this. We've been working on our grit. We don't quit. We've got grit. But there's a big difference between letting go and quitting. Huge difference between letting go and quitting. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, of letting go. When we surrender this little bit, there's something that I believe that's sort of magical that happens inside. And I'm going to unpack that in a minute and all this week, because I think it is so crucial for moving the ball down the field. It's so crucial for our own personal development and allowing us and giving us room to become the women we're supposed to be. Being available for that is something that I think we need to start talking about. So letting go is just giving up an aspect of yourself, maybe. Maybe it is. There's a fear of change attached to it all, isn't there? You let go of those fat clothes. That means that, no options anymore. I know that was a thing for me. It's like, I can't let go of that, maybe. Even horrible boyfriends. Who if I let go of that? What do we think about when we're letting go of a toxic relationship? We think about all those little good times, don't we? We never look at the full spectrum of garbage, just those small things. But when we decide to let go, I believe it's a grown-up thing to do. I believe it's small. emotionally intelligent women do this, and they're not afraid of it. Certainly there's a little fear involved, a little scary stuff involved. I think that's healthy, but it's something that needs to be done. It's something that needs to be done. It's something that needs to be looked at. It has to be looked at. So, how about this? What if I need it? Is that something that maybe you would say? Or what if I'm single forever? I mean, something's better than nothing, right? Is it? Really? You want to put up with that just to get this? You put up with all of this so that you can have a little bit of that? That's the exchange, really. And then, we find ourselves in that, what was that? The Is That All There Is? That movie with Jack Lemmon from years and years ago. Is that all there is? Then let's just keep dancing. Wow, what a life. But resistance to change is what this is, according to psychologists. That's it. It's just a resistance to change. And if we, there's studies out there, they study this, how difficult it is to let go of anything, and how much difficult we have. But this is interesting. One study found that a certain amount of discomfort there's a certain amount of discomfort that a person can tolerate until finally there's a tipping point where it's just like, okay, I give up. Let's do this. It's time to let go of it. But this is the proof that change is always uncomfortable. It is. It's always uncomfortable. And even good change, like losing all that weight, good change. Remember, Tanya, are you here? Like her stories about, should I, shouldn't I? I did the same thing. Bags and bags of these clothes. Should I or shouldn't I? Well, some of this stuff was expensive, Should I? But that's only at first. That's the beginning. That's the beginning of this idea of this processing of letting go. And Elizabeth Kubler-Ross she was like a leading Swiss researcher, American Swiss is my understanding, researcher of death and dying. And she said there are 5 stages of grief. And letting go, in a way, is a mini grief, isn't it? It's a mini grief. Being willing to let go is a willingness to part from something that used to be a part of your space, of your life, of your closet, of your home, of your relationship, of whatever. It was a part of who you were, even food, for heaven's sakes. This is when people start using possessive nouns as their for their food. My cheese, for example. I don't want to give up my cheese. But there's stages that Elizabeth Kubler-Ross came up with this way back when, probably 50 years ago, of letting go. And we're going to be talking. I'm going to use an example of being across the desk from a doctor and getting a difficult diagnosis as our example. How about that? Let's do that. All right. Number 1 is that denial is the first thing that comes up when you're given a shocking, maybe, diagnosis. Maybe somebody said to you, I'm sorry, but you've got X, you've got X that's going on. Well, denial is always a huge thing. And it's basically avoidance is what it is. It's a refusal to believe what you're being told. No, that just can't be. A refusal to acknowledge the existence of a problem or an issue or a disease, or that a person left, or that, whatever. So it's usually a short-lived thing, but the denial is usually a jaw drop thing, and it's usually kind of shocking. Like, you're kidding. I've got this. This is what the doctor's saying to you, maybe. I don't know. It happens. And there's the next thing that comes up is anger. Well, why me? Why am I the one to get this? I've taken good care of myself. I've juiced every day for, 30 years. I've taken good care of myself. I've done all these things. And you're ticked. You are ticked. I had a girlfriend one time who, she lost a sister. who was she was an athlete. She took really good care of herself. She, everything was in a line, and she lost her sister to breast cancer in her 30s. Why her? It's really terrible. But what usually ensues out of this? Raised voices, complaining, and a lot of anger. Why is this happening? It's not fair. Why me? And what I think, though, is that a lot of this, some of this, sometimes, not always, but sometimes it's regret that's veiled in this anger. And of course, we don't talk about that sometimes, of course. It's like, I just remember, like, with my mother with COPD, why my mom? Why this? Why that? And it's like the elephant in the room was like, she smoked, Leanne. For how many years did she smoke? And she got this diagnosis of COPD when she was in her 50s. She started smoking when she was 17, So, gosh, we got to look at that. But boy, there was some denial there on my part, never mind my mother's, but I had my own, and anger on my part. Don't take away my mother for this disease, And then there's bargaining, I remember this very clearly with my mother. And that's clinging to an irrational hope when the facts say otherwise. This is when you first start saying, okay, like, this is my mom. I'll give up smoking, and I'm going to do all this stuff, and I'm going to listen to the doctor, and I'm going to do this, and everything's going to get better. Prognosis isn't good for COPD already. It's not good. But, that's where we are. We bargain and say, well, if we do, okay, here it is. This is where it is. I mean, bargaining is sort of a midway point, I would say. Well, maybe depression is more that. I mean, depression's the next thing. You get depressed. Duh, right? You've accepted. Basically, it's not quite acceptance. You've understood what the diagnosis is. It's that thing. And you guys know what I'm talking about. When you wake up in the morning, you go, something's not right. What is? Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember that with my mom. And waking up in the morning, ready to bounce out of bed, ready to be happy for the day, ready to do whatever. And, what's up? Oh, yeah, that's right. We got this diagnosis with my mom. What are we going to do here? And she didn't tell us right away, by the way. She didn't want us to get angry because she had smoked. My mother lived to be 83. She died in 2000. Yeah, she barely eked out 83. She died in 2016. She was born in 1933. So she lived with, but my mother's history in the 90s, she was diagnosed with lung cancer, and she made it past the 10 years that they gave her because she had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. It was just one circumstance after the other, and then she went back to smoking after 3/4 of a lung removed, after chemotherapy and all of that. This to me is sort of like, it's having gastric bands surgery and then going back to eating like a crazy person again, if that was a, problem or whatever. But this is what we do when we bargain, I'll give up the sugar, I'll give up the carbs, and then everything's going to be okay. I'll give up the cigarettes. I'll do this, and then everything's is it? Will it? I don't know. But this is the part of the bargaining, the whole bargaining process. And then we get into the whole thing of depression. And that is sort of still a little bit angry, still a little bit, but shutting down a little bit and going a little inward and just kind of looking at it and thinking, knowing that you can't bargain your way out, but not quite willing to accept what the prognosis is. I'm going to fight it. I remember that with both my parents. My dad died of cancer when he was 59, but I will say he was 58, because at 59, he was on his deathbed in a hospital bed in his bedroom at home, pretty much unconscious. That's how it goes when people are dying. It's a horrible thing to watch, but there you are. What are you going to do with that? So denial and anger aren't going to help in any way, but denial and anger certainly do pave the way for that depression till you finally get to the place of acceptance. This is our processing way that we process anything. death and dying and a difficult prognosis and having to let go of something. There's the ticking of the wheels through your head of this is how we operate. So acceptance is basically letting go of all this other garbage and saying this is what it is. And this is when it's time to create a new reality, create a new normal, whatever it is that you need to do. But it's our come to Jesus meeting. It is. That's what acceptance is. And that is that, hey, you're either going to have to accept all of this just as it is right now, or if it can be changed, then there are things that you're going to have to do. Or, there's a lot of different variables, of course, to this, but acceptance at the very end of the day is the thing that needs to happen in order to move the needle in your life. And I will just say that letting go is a part of life. Like I said, we see it all around us when we in our world. We breathe. When we breathe in, we breathe out. We're letting go of our breath. When we observe nature in all her glory in the middle of autumn, and there are those trees just full of all kinds of color. And I live in one of the most beautiful areas of the country, and there you see it. Beautiful. But then the leaves are let go of, aren't they? Those leaves fall. They have to make room for the new leaves. There's something new under that surface. But finding the reason why oftentimes isn't so easy. Or sometimes it's not something easily remedied that why will fix either. So I always say this, when it comes to this kind of thing, is there something you can do? Then do it. Is there nothing that you can do? Then accept it. And even with a terminal illness or a diagnosis or something like that, I don't think anybody should have to just roll over and say, okay, that's great. That's fine. I've got 2 months to live, so I'm going to go do this. You don't have to do that, but you do have to process it a little bit, don't you? And you do have to take a look at what's out there, don't you? And figure things out for yourself. But I think we hold ourselves hostage in some ways when we are trying to figure out the why. Sometimes there isn't a why. Sometimes life is just unfair. Like my girlfriend's sister who was in her 30s and who passed away from breast cancer. Why? I don't have an answer for that. I do know when I go to heaven, though, I'm going to ask God, I don't understand this stuff. Can you explain it now that we're here? Now it's you, me, you, me, you, me. Talk to me. Tell me this why stuff. But I'm certainly not going to dwell on it because why, right? But on the other side of this incredible release of letting go is now the space for something new, just like the leaves on the tree. And I believe that in order to allow for things, new things into our life, we have to let go of the old things. It's just the way it is. It's the way it is for all creatures, great and small. It's just how it is in this whole world that you cannot, if you're unwilling to give up, the chips, the dips, the cookies, and the stuff, you are not giving space and room for the new stuff for building your health, right? If you keep holding on to all those clothes, you're not going to have room to put the new clothes in. We have to look at those things, because when we're holding on, it means that we're holding on to the past of something. It doesn't mean we're ever going to have resolution in the way that we want it. It doesn't. It doesn't mean that we get to rewrite the end of something or create a different way. Sometimes that's possible, but not always. Sometimes it's extraordinarily serious. Sometimes it's just something as simple as too many clothes in the closet. But if we can understand the principle of letting go is an act of allowing for the more that's waiting for us, then it gets a little bit easier, doesn't it? Because on the other side of letting go is a glorious something. And I don't know what it is. I know for me, with my mother and all of that, letting go of what it was that I want, I got to have a year and change with my mother that I wouldn't otherwise have had, having her live with me and all of that and take care of her. I wouldn't have had that. So it was a special time. As much as I mourned and missed my well mama and had to take care of my sick mama, she was still there, you know? And at least I had that, and that's the thing that I looked at. I let go of what I wanted, and I accepted what was there. And it made me a whole lot more grateful. And gratitude, by the way, is one of the tools that we're going to be talking about tomorrow, because it's one of the ways that we get to the place of truly allowing for letting go of stuff. Anyway, I don't know if that helped you or not, or if you're going to enjoy this series, I hope. But, you know, as I look at it, I think that this is the way that we kind of work through all of the stuff. It's always multi-layered, isn't it? Like an onion. So thank you again for joining me today for Motivational Monday. Don't forget, 1 week from today, we start our Get Strong, Be Strong challenge. Just go watch the webinar and go get the guide and download it and print it and all that. It's at savingdinner.com/strong. If you want the kit, which by the way is like 25% off, grab it today so we can get it to you on time. All right? Thanks so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. And I will see you tomorrow for Transformational Tip Tuesday. Peace be with you.
Thanks for watching. Check back for new episodes. If you missed the live show, you can always watch the replay. You can find Saving Dinner on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Until next time, pinkies up.